I began my career in the industry I'm in now after I left my father's company in the late 70s. My intent was to go around the Chicago area and help organizations bring out the best in their people. Unfortunately, I had a very difficult time doing that. Every time somebody asked me what kind of experience I had, all I could point to was the fact that I worked for my dad, and I did these things at my dad's place. So I said, you can give my dad a call. He'll give you good references. But they were really looking for more experience. And at the time, the only place I could really get work was in high school athletic departments. I went to college on a basketball scholarship, so I was able to take my motivational message and give it to high school basketball teams, baseball teams. That's the only place where I seem to have some credibility. And I wasn't able to make enough money to really make ends meet. So I decided that instead of me just trying to make it on my own, is that I should really work for somebody that I thought was a leader in this industry. So I had a gentleman help me with a resume, and I wrote a nice cover letter. It talked about how I was really interested in bringing out the best in people and motivating them to reach their potential. But when I finished the letter, I said, I don't know where I'm going to send it. Who does this kind of thing? So I actually looked up in the phone book for a company that might be in the motivation business. And I found a company called Motivational Institute. And I called them up, and it turns out they were part of PMA Communications, owned by W. Clement Stone. So I asked the lady if I could meet with her. She said, no, we don't have any openings, but send us your resume. So instead of sending it, I went down there. And I asked to speak with her, and she wouldn't see me. As I was leaving, I run into this gentleman who was coming in, and he said to me, aren't you Bill Durkin? And I said, yeah. I said, how do we know each other? Well, he happened to be a sports reporter, and he had covered Loyola basketball, and he knew me from playing basketball in the early 70s. And he said, what are you doing here? I said, well, I'd like to see, her name was Frances Young. I'd like to see Frances Young and see if I might be able to get a job here. And he goes, well, let me see if I can make the introduction. So he did, came out about 10 minutes later, and I was sitting down with Frances Young, and I explained that I'd like to work for her company. I knew it was owned by W. Clement Stone by then, and I really wanted to work for him. Well, she told me they didn't have any openings, but that she would let me talk to the president the next day. So I spent some time with this gentleman that was the reporter, asked him a lot of questions about their business, their industry, what they were trying to do. At the time, I had no idea that they were really serving the prison population, and that didn't matter to me. What mattered was I might have a chance to be mentored by W. Clement Stone. So the next day, after doing all my research, I met with the president, and he assured me that there was no jobs. They had no money to hire somebody. So what I suggested is that I put together a proposal and see if he would be interested in my recommendations. So I created a proposal for him, and I actually created a 3-month project. And I said, here's what I think I can do for your organization, and I'll do it for free. You don't even have to pay me. And if at the end of the 3 months you like what I did, then we could talk about a full-time arrangement. Now, he thought I was a little strange at the time, but he agreed. He liked kind of the initiative. And so I actually started to work for W. Clement Stone, one of the richest men in America, for free. And I did it for 3 months. I did it with 100% commitment. And my thoughts, my ideas that I shared with them kind of panned out, and they really liked what I did. I actually got hired by them, and for the next 4 years, I worked for W. Clement Stone. One of the greatest experiences of my life. So my recommendation to you is to do something similar. If you're out of work, if you haven't any opportunities right now for full-time employment, I'd ask you to identify 3 nonprofit organizations that you really care about. Think about their cause, think about the challenges that they might have. Nonprofit organizations right now are really strapped for resources. A lot of their funding has been cut back. People have fallen on some hard times. They have not been as generous as they have in years gone by. They need help. Think about an organization and think about what you might be able to do for that person with your unique strengths, with your God-given talents. And start to make a plan, a 3-month plan for how you can make a positive impact on that organization. I'd also ask you to do the same thing for your for-profit companies. Same thing can work. I happen to do it in a nonprofit organization. Sometimes I think they might be more receptive to a creative idea like this, but I'd even research for-profit organizations. Pick 3 of each, study them, research them, and start thinking about what you might be able to do to help make a positive impact in that organization. Next, we're going to be talking about how you might be able to make that introduction and make that proposal. But for right now, I'd like you just to think about what are the 3 nonprofits, what are the 3 for-profits, do some research, Google them, kind of understand who's there, what are their challenges, what you might be able to do to help them go from where they're at to where they want to be. So that's it for today. I am Bill Durkin, and this is One Positive Place at jobboxreport.com.